So tonight it's been advertised that I'll be talking on acceptance. And it's one of the things that a lot of people miss because they don't realise how important it is. It's the foundation of higher consciousness. If we are not in acceptance of our psyche, the good, the bad and the ugly of it, we're basically split inside ourselves. We have a part that judges and we have a part that is being judged. And so usually we have a part that is hiding. As a result of this non-acceptance of self, self-worth is constantly lost to low self-worth. Because somewhere deep down we feel that we're not okay, that we're not worthy. And so we all grew up in an environment where we were told we were bad from time to time, and everybody develops a certain amount of low self-worth because we tend to believe our teachers and our parents and our peers when we're very young. And this low self-worth, in a lot of ways, creates failure in our lives. The cure is quite difficult. It's easy to talk about, it's easy to say, it's actually easy to understand, but it's difficult to implement. Because what will have happened if you have low self-worth, you'll probably have a default pattern of somehow not liking or accepting yourself. Default patterns are patterns that run unconsciously by themselves. And it's very difficult to be self-nourishing if you don't like you, if you're not your own best friend. We can put it in happy act for everybody and pretend we're always okay, but when we're not in acceptance of ourselves, there's something else a little bit shadowy going on. And we have to pretend a lot. And depending on how much of ourselves, our psyche, we don't accept, maybe we even move to self-loathing or self-hatred. We develop negative motivators to try to improve ourselves, which do more damage than good. Beating ourselves up never healed any wound of the heart. It definitely didn't improve self-worth. Negative motivators do have the potential of changing things, but the cost is too high, way too high, because you brutalise yourself and you wound yourself further. Self-love usually comes because we're in acceptance of ourselves and because we're self-nourishing. It's difficult for self-love when we don't like ourselves, or there's parts of ourselves we don't like. Those parts are possibly being denied, pushed down, hidden. And the truth is, all human beings are pretty much the same. The package has the good, the bad and the ugly in it from birth. It's not that we're inherently evil or inherently bad, but we have everything in us. And at some point when we're old enough to realise what's going on, we have a choice whether we run certain programs or we don't run them. And so we all have a killer inside us, all humans do. Most people don't run that particular role very often because they'll go to jail. But it's there, and it's okay that it's there. It's not okay that we run it and we actually go out and kill people, but it's okay that it's there. We all have a thief inside us, and it's okay that that's there. We don't need to go out and steal things. We can actually go, no, I don't want to do that. But the role is still there. It doesn't go away because you don't want it to be there, or you think you're better than that. It doesn't go away, it's there. It's actually a mature choice not to entertain that role. The same as everybody inside of them has a liar, which was developed at probably around the age of 2. And the liar is there to as a part of our survival mechanism. It helps us survive in the material world. And some people might see it as particularly dark, but it's just a survival mechanism. It comes with the program, it comes with the body. Once again, as we become more conscious, as we become more mature, we don't have to run the liar. It's a choice. Or we can. But being dark on our selves because we have a liar, or we have a thief, or we have a killer inside us, this is going to create a mess inside us, because there's going to be parts hiding, parts judging. It's going to create a separation in the psyche. Makes it very difficult to love yourself. Makes it very difficult to self-nourish. It seems popular subject in today's media is gay marriage, and people judge or they don't judge. But the truth is, everyone has, to some degree, something in them. Maybe it's minuscule, but it's not unnatural. It occurs in nature. And so there's people who are same-sex attracted, and there's people who are same-sex attracted a tiny bit. But because we grew up in a society that frowns on that to some degree, quite often when a person who is not operating as a gay person starts to judge themselves, starts to hide that even from themselves. And the thing is, it's just a part of the psyche. It's like anything else. You don't have to run it if you don't want to, or you can run it if you want to. It's up to you. But when we judge ourselves, when we actually start making ourselves bad for any reason whatsoever, when we start not accepting what we find inside ourselves, we are creating a problem for ourselves. It's not the world that's doing it to us, we're doing it to ourselves. In truly accepting every part of the psyche, the good, the bad and the ugly, the psyche can rest. It's pretty difficult for the psyche to rest when we're being non-accepting, judgmental, wishing things were different, hiding things. It's pretty hard to rest because we actually have to be careful. A bit like being a thief or a liar. Big problem with being a thief or a liar is you constantly got to be careful that you don't get caught. And so if you don't lie and you don't thieve, you can relax a lot more because you don't have to be careful anymore. It's one of the good reasons not to be a liar or a thief. As we judge ourselves, quite often we judge the world. And so what we find in ourselves as unsavoury and we judge it as harsh, we judge outside ourselves the same. And so what we don't accept in ourselves, quite often we won't accept in others. And this creates a separation in us from others because of our non-acceptance, which all boils back to our own non-acceptance of ourselves, or that part of ourselves that maybe we're not running, but we're judgmental about. In full acceptance, I'm actually talking about a tender okayness, not a cold acceptance, but a tender, warm okayness to every part that is there. And when we can find this tender, warm okayness to every part in our own psyches, it's relatively easy to find that for others. But quite difficult to find it for others if that's not how we're treating ourselves. And so the beginning, the foundation of higher consciousness is built on self-acceptance. To be warmly okay with how you are now. Not how you may be later, or could be, but how you are right now. Self-love arises. Self-nourishing arises. The need to actually be accepted and loved by others doesn't hold the same sway because we're not trying to avoid our own low self-worth. It's actually okay. We're okay. We're sitting in a place of okayness rather than a place of not okayness. And so no matter what it takes, no matter how difficult it may be, if we're really interested in higher consciousness, we need to find a way to be warmly okay with ourselves, no matter what is there. That doesn't mean we're going to run some of the things that are there, but it means we're okay with it, and warmly okay with it.